You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube and the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Again, thank you for making Locked On Sooners your first listen. For your second listen, go check out Locked On SEC with our guy Chris Gordy, just breaking down everything that's happened this week at SEC Media Days. Hey, go also check out my man Jonzo Ball over at Locked On Longhorns as well. That's my dude over there. If you've caught any of our crossovers over the years, you know my man Jonathan Davis. He is going to bring you the Texas facts with some reasonable Texas perspective. So go check out Locked On Longhorns as well. But Jay, we got some injury updates from Brent Venables prior to taking the podium. This comes from George Stoya of On3 and Sooner Scoop. Several guys that are going to be fully ready. Let's talk through some of those guys first, because that will impact some camp battles when fall ball begins. Gentry Williams, he's going to be back. I think both you and I expect when he's healthy, he's going to be your starter over at that left cornerback spot. This one's very interesting. Gary and Hatchett, the interior offensive lineman, how might he factor into the offensive line competition come fall ball?
Yeah, he came in, transferred from Washington, and he was a key component on that Joe Moore award-winning line. Like, he was a key piece. He rotated in around, and he got hurt like right before the national championship, and so he didn't get to play. And he's been out, ever since. And so we saw him running in some, propaganda that the Sooner account popped up and showed the big men running around, and he's like, okay, that knee looks like it's better because that's what was hurt. And it appears that he's fully released. Venables mentioned that by June that they expected him back to be at full health, and now he's released. Now, with that being said, there's a good chance he's going to battle for that left guard spot. Like, I'm still pretty high on Heath Uzeta right now. I think that him being in the system for as long as he has is going to help him get a little bit of a leg up with Coach Bill Beatonbaugh and getting a run at that left guard. But if Gary and Hatchett is ready, with that experience, there's a good chance he could lead the way, with Uzeta being his first rotation on that line. And that's something you want, right? You're going to need to have guys. You don't want to have the highest snaps in college football again, like we did last year with certain players. You want to be able to rotate and everybody have half as much, because if you do have the opportunity to make a big playoff run, you're going to play about 17 games. You need the bodies. And with that, good thing to have Hatchett back healthy.
That's right. As many good players as you can have up front, the better. Another fully released for fall ball, Casey Thompson, a guy that's factoring in at the backup quarterback spot. What do we expect out of Casey Thompson this year?
Yeah, I anticipate him being back there as a leader, more so kind of like a coach, as a quarterback, right? Because Casey's seen a lot, played at Texas, played at Nebraska, played at FAU. So he's done a lot of stuff over the last few years. And so because of that, Oklahoma has been needing to have an additional, veteran presence. Let's put it that way. And he does, because Jackson Arnold is a true sophomore. And that's the question that everybody has. I've had that question asked me by numerous SEC schools on some of the hits that I've done is, your quarterback's young. What are you going to do about your quarterback? Blah, blah, blah. Well, we've got Casey, and I think Casey can do a really good job of stepping in when needed, but he doesn't need to take over. That's the beauty of it. It'll be all on Jackson Arnold, but having a veteran behind him to help with the playbook and help just being acclimated to the pressures of being, especially in the SEC, having a veteran be able to talk about all the defense they've seen will be able to help a lot.
It will. And no matter what the season looks like, you've got a veteran that can come in for a stretch if necessary. You've got some really intriguing backup options as well in Michael Hawkins and Brendan Zerbrug that can sling the ball around in their own right too. So that's going to be a really interesting quarterback rotation, backup quarterback rotation, however you want to, portray it. I think in non-conference, there's a good chance you see the younger guys instead of maybe Casey when given the opportunity. But I think they'll want to get him some reps as well. But maybe you want to see more Michael Hawkins, more Brendan Zerbrug, get them that experience.
And the transfer that's from Choctaw. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he's the newest transfer that we recently got at quarterback.
Steele Wassel.
Yeah, Wassel. There you go, Steele Wassel. You may even see him. So that's a good point.
Yeah. Never know. To the wide receiver position, because this is the one that's garnered a lot of attention because of the depth that it has. Well, that depth is still being put to the test. Jalil Farouk, he's kind of in that day-to-day, I would argue. There's not really a designation for him, and they don't use the day-to-day, the doubtful, questionable for practice. Hopefully one day we'll get to that like they do in the NFL. But Jalil Farouk nursing a foot injury. We know with wide receivers, the feet are so important. When you start losing those feet, you start losing a lot of your explosiveness in and out of your breaks, things like that. So we'll see what his availability is going to be like when it comes to fall ball. I expect that he'll probably be ready to go by SEC play, fully ready to go, not having to, watch what he does in practice, but it's going to be interesting there. And then Angelo Anthony, not quite ready to go yet. They expect him ready by the end of fall camp, but I mean, it's not until October that he's going to be a year out from the ACL injury, which is the general timeline for that recovery. But what does that mean for the wide receiver group moving forward, Jay?
Yeah, you kind of lose a little bit of the veteran presence that you were hoping to have in there. But the good thing is you've got some other players that have played. This is a great opportunity for Jaden Gibson to get out there and play some more, along with, of course, Deion Burks is going to be playing and Nick Anderson. So with those three, that's kind of the ones leading the way. Brennan Thompson is going to be the next one, of course. He'll be able to get the opportunity to play a lot more now, as long as he's healthy, because that's kind of been his problem even at Texas and at Oklahoma, is just staying healthy. He gets back healthy, he's going to definitely be out there showing out. And so between those guys, right, that's kind of the thing that you're hoping that you get from, not having Angelo Anthony and Jalil Farouk playing, is to be able to get those younger guys playing. And if they get out there and play, then get that experience you need, especially in the non-con. You really want them to play non-con, because then whenever you go up against Tennessee, you can say, all right, bring the veterans in as well and make sure everybody's experienced. You can do a lot more subbing and rotations.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for Jaden Gibson, who showed out in limited opportunities as Oklahoma's fifth, then fourth wide receiver in the 2023 season. Again, 14 catches, 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards, averaged more than 23 yards per reception. The dude just knows how to make plays. So getting him some full extended playing time in the first 3 games of the season, that's going to be really exciting to see what he's able to do with 50, 60 snaps a game, maybe 5, 6 targets a game. I'm really excited to see what he's going to be capable of with a full complement of snaps, because we know Nick Anderson, he's going to make plays for you all over the passing game, and he'll probably start whether Angelo Anthony was ready to go week 1 or Jalil Farouk was ready to go week 1. I really feel like Nick Anderson had earned that starting spot. There was just competition at the other spot. So it's going to be fascinating to see this. But then you've still got Deion Burks. You may not have the veteran presences, but you got a Deion Burks who's played a lot of college football, and the 3 of them create a really, really dynamic group that you can do a lot of things with. I think Brennan Thompson also stands to benefit from this. He's felt a lot of times as a guy lost in the shuffle. Yeah. You see the speed, you see the ability, the quickness off the line of scrimmage, but because of the depth, it's just hard to break through and work your way up the depth chart. But I think this creates a really, really nice opportunity for him, and even for Jaquez Pettaway. Pettaway probably lines up more in the slot, getting more of those slot snaps, but Thompson is going to get more opportunities on the outside without Jalil Farouk. So a very interesting fall ball situation. I cannot wait. Brent Venables said late July, that's when they're going to get going. So we're going to start seeing these camp battles unfold over the next 6 weeks as we get ready for Temple, and then in earnest get ready for that debut season in the SEC. We got a little bit of clarification on horns down. It's not a penalty. We'll talk about that next, coming up here on Locked On Sooners. Right now, FanDuel still has the Oklahoma Sooners sitting at 7.5 on the over-under. Apparently, that was not enough confidence being exuded by Brent Venables at SEC Media Days. Got to get that number. If you're a betting man, that's 7.5. That's looking pretty nice. I'd definitely taken the over on that. We love sports. We love them so much that we don't want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get to the middle of summer, the sports stop sporting like we want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.